talk with Tamisa.
Hi, welcome to Table Talk with Tamisa. I am your host, Tamisa Hunter. Today, thank you for joining us, my guest. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the followings, the likes, the shares, the comments, the phone calls. We appreciate it. But today is a special day. We have a special guest here. But before I get to the guest, we have to do our affirmations. And you know that we have to affirm everything. So, what came to me was number one, I am whole, I am beautiful, and I am loved. Those are your affirmations for this week. Write them down, cherish them, say them every day, look in the mirror and tell them that you are what God says you are, because you are. And when we come back, we're going to have my guest, Aleshia Brown. Well, let me say, she's a prophet. So Prophetess Aleshia Brown will be back to share her story. So stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Table Talk with Tamisa. I am here with my amazing spiritual mother, Aleshia Brown, but you guys don't know that she's actually a prophet. But we are going to go into her story. And so, Mother A, now I'm going to be professional. Aleshia Brown, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm well. I am wonderful. Now, you ain't had to tell them all of that, but you know, I still love you anyhow.
I love you too. Mm-hmm. So you guys, she's going to tell us her story. So, Miss Brown, will you please tell us your story?
Of course.
Thank you.
I'll just start off this way. Imagine a little girl in this big world, seeing a surrounding of everything, all things that she can venture off to. Don't know who you are, but you know you're somebody. You're created, but you can't see what you're created to be. Growing up, trying to fit in, but as famous Dr. Seuss says, why try to fit in when you were born to stand out? Not understanding who you are, but you know you're somebody. But you look like you're a nobody. And going along a journey of being a chameleon because you're overlooked and underestimated. So why not be like everybody else? But the thing is, because that's not the original you can't even do it right. So they say, I don't know what you're doing that for. You don't even look right doing it. You're not one of us. Not wanting to be alone, not wanting to be by yourself. You go through this world trying to find your way, but then you hit a curve. It's like a roadblock. And you're like, should I go left or should I go right? But if I go left, I still see another roadblock. And if I go right, I see another roadblock. So where should I go? Or should I go back to the beginning? But then you realize, why not do it another way? Route recalculation. So now you're in another scene and in another world, another life. It seems like you're living, but you're just existing. You realize that you go through day-to-day routine, wake up, children go to school, You're doing this. You have to get a job. Make sure you're paying the bills. The normal. But you're just existing. So what the world may say is you're living your life, but you know that I'm not really living. I'm just existing. Because on the inside, I feel like I'm dead. I don't even feel like I'm alive. So what do I do in that case? And then all of a sudden you have a little talk with nature. Hit three trees, knock 2 down. And you realize, oh, I'm really dead for real now. What do? You have 3 young ones at home, single mother, and your life is about to pass you away. What does one do in that situation? Now I want to have a talk with Jesus. Now I know that God is real. So you move forward and you say, okay, you win. What do you want? He says, I want you to surrender your will for mine. That's all you want? Okay, give me a needle so I can make myself bleed and I can sign my bloody signature on the dotted line. I give you my will for your will. It's no longer my will, but it's your will to be done. If that's all you want, you can have it. But here is the key and the kicker about it. When I said yes to his will, I thought I was slick and I said, I'm saying yes to the will, but I ain't say yes to your call. You just asked me to say yes to your will, not realizing that the call was a part of the will. So where I thought that I was getting away and getting over, running away from the call and just saying, okay, I'm with the will, I really wasn't. But God being so merciful and patient with me and being so gracious, he still worked with me. And he said, okay, I see what I have to do with you. Then he says, uproot you like Abraham and says, move to a town that you know nobody. Excuse me? Single mother, 3 children, and you want me to do what? He said, but you're going to a place of milk and honey. You're going to a place where all the promises that I promised you, you'll have them there. What does one do when everybody thinks that you're crazy, but you still decide to step out on faith and move? So now we're on the journey of going to a place that you know no one. But God's favor and provision was already there. That's where my everlasting life began. That's where the promises began to manifest. That's where my purpose began to become a reality. You see, I realized just as Mary had her baby in a place that was the most deserted, disgusting place of all. See, Mary didn't realize what she was birthing and how big it was. That's why she could not go to just any old hotel. She needed space and she needed room because of what she was birthing was big. But not only was it big, it was the trajectory for everyone else's life. I was in my pit when I birthed out Empower Me. Now realizing that I was birthing out other women's purpose and the trajectory for other women's lives. Little old me, still trying to figure out my life, but you want to use me to elevate other women in their lives. A lot of times when we go through pain and suffering, we don't understand what we go through and why we have to go through it. We sing the same old song, why me? And then also in some cases you may become an adult, but the little girl in you or the little boy in you is still suffering, crying out. And you're trying to realize, why can I not move forward as an adult? Why do I still do childish things and have a childish mindset? It's because the little girl or little boy in you has not been yet set free. So what happens is you're an adult, but the little girl or the little boy is still trapped on the inside, still suffering and mourning. Well, that was me. The little girl in me kept saying, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. I still felt alone. I felt deserted. Yes, I know the Bible says he will never leave you nor forsake you. I done heard it so many times. But what does one do when it feels like I'm alone, although you say that I'm not alone? Nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. I'm looked at as crazy. I'm looked at as I'm not in my right mind. What does one do? How do you still continue to go forward? And as David said it best when he said, I was glad when I was afflicted, so that I may learn your ways and your statutes. It is in our afflictions, funny. It's when we're afflicted, is when we all of a sudden know how to pray and talk to God.
Yes.
So it is in our afflictions that keeps us. To be afflicted is to be humbled. To be afflicted is to know of his ways and the things that he is calling you to do. Count it all joy. That's what he said. So now I say, okay, fine, you win. What else do you want from me? And then he says, there's more that I require of you. Okay, so what is it? Now it's time for you to walk into who I called you to be.
Woo.
So who am I then? It's that moment when you decide to get bold with God all of a sudden. Why me?
And right there, we're going to see why me. Stay tuned. We'll cut to a commercial. We'll be right back.
Come experience luxurious one-of-a-kind services at one of Arlington's premier beauty salons. Services include eyelash enhancements, a full array of customized skincare, and body contouring. Come enjoy your slice of heaven at Angelic Touch Beauty Bar and Salon.
Welcome back, you guys, to Table Talk with Tamisa. I am here with my wonderful guest, Aleshia Brown. And if you was here, boy, you are, I'm just lost for words. But I want to talk about the why. So now, since we've heard your story, Aleshia, tell us why. Why do you think God chose you? And since he chose you, what have you done to help other women?
So far as in why did God choose me? You know, that's never a question that one can ever answer. Because I don't care how much you may know and how much clarity you have as to your purpose, that question does still come up. Why did you choose me? You could have chosen anybody else, but you saw fit to choose me. But you know, along the journey, I realized more and more. When you ask that question, why me? God says, why not you?
Right.
Because, yes, the scripture says many are called, but few are chosen. The thing is, when you're called, that means you still have an assignment on your life.
Right.
To be chosen, that's a whole nother level. To whom much is given, much is required. So when God sees fit and says, I choose you, you're my special one.
Yeah.
We're all special to him in our own unique ways. God has a way of handpicking and selecting each one. And see, the chosen ones are the ones that are willing. I never forget the day when God told me, he said, do you want to know what yes means? do you believe that when you told me yes, did you really mean it? And I said, of course, God, yes.
Right.
I said, what you talking about?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Where we going? He said, so let me drop this in your ear. I said, okay. He said, I'm going to give you a little acronym for yes. And then I want you to answer that question again.
Okay.
He said, yes means that you're yielding to the edification of my spirit.
Ooh, that part right there. That's what yes means. And a lot of people do not understand the why. So I'm glad that you explained the why. Because I said, why me? And I fought with that for many, many, many years because I was like, I didn't want to be chosen. So for you to define it in that manner, it further solidifies why he did choose me. And I know that our audience and the people that's listening that's questioned the why you feel as though you're going through this, why God chose you. That was the answer. That yes, he's edifying you just like with everyone else because he chose you. You have purpose and a destiny and you have to reach that because it's God's will.
Mm-hmm. It is. The most important thing about that yes, the same way Jesus was willing to sacrifice everything, even his own life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask yourself, God, why me? Take a look in the mirror and ask yourself the question, am I willing? Because let me tell you, before I got into knowing Christ for myself, knowing who he really is, when I was of the world and in the world, I was a daredevil. You know, mama tell you, don't touch the stove because it's hot. Me, I got to experiment to see what you telling me is the truth. So I'm going to touch the stove, although you warned me don't touch the stove.
That's how we do. Yeah.
So I was always that willing person. I was that daredevil. That I'm going to try it out and I'm going to learn it the hard way. So God said, what the enemy meant for evil, I'm going to turn it around for your good. So now the daredevil that was of the world, now I'm a daredevil for God.
What? Woo, that is powerful. Did you hear her? Yes. Yes.
So where people may say, girl, you crazy. Girl, what person you know is going to give away all their stuff to pack up one duffel bag? And y'all know how, listen, women, you know we like our shoes, our clothes, our jewelry, our purses, and all of the above. We got to have it together from the head down to the toe. So imagine a duffel bag. And y'all know, listen, a duffel bag per person. 3 stepping stone children, a baby that had not even turned 1 yet, a 4 and a 5-year-old.
All because of that yes.
All because of that yes. Now, so anytime God asks you a question, you be like, yes, and you want to sing that song, be mindful, y'all, when y'all sing these songs, because when you sing the songs, God is like, oh, do you really mean what you're singing and what you're saying? Yes, it sounds good, but do you read? So that song, if you decide to want to sing, will your heart and soul say yes? I'm saying yes, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. I want you to ask yourself,
Are you truly saying yes?
Are you truly saying yes? Because when you say yes, that means, God, I'm yielding. And when you yield, that means, Leisha dying. Leisha gonna move out the way and allow God to take over. Mm-hmm. So, like God told me, that 3-stranded cord. He said, when you first start out, most say that's the marriage. Yeah, it's me, you, and God. No, pause, stop. Scratch marriage. Nothing against marriage, because I am married happily. But scratch marriage for right now. Mm-hmm. That 3-stranded cord starts with you in your singleness. When the 3-stranded cord, it starts out, it's you, God, and yourself. And the purpose of that is, God said, I need you and yourself to intertwine, because y'all know about braiding.
Yeah.
That middle piece is what keeps the 2 outer pieces to connect it, to make it that 3-stranded cord.
You see this? If we not going to church today, if you didn't go to church yesterday, last week, like Sunday, whatever, you going to church today, on the table talk, at the table. Okay, Mom.
So that 3-stranded cord, God said, I need you and yourself to become one with me.
That is powerful.
So once you get there, and now when you look in the mirror, you don't just see yourself, but you see God. Now God say, okay, we're going to take it a step higher. We're going back to the 3-stranded cord. So no, it's no longer you, yourself, and God. Now it's you and God, you the woman of God, you the man of God. So now God said the 3-stranded cord is God, you, and God. I know that don't make sense, but I'm going to help y'all out. He said, I'm God in front of you so that I can lead you in the way that you should go, and I can lead and guide you. And I'm God behind you, Psalms 91, so that I can shield and protect you as long as you stay under the shadows and underneath my wings. So as I don't need you, he said, old things have passed, forgetting those things that are behind you. You no longer have to look behind you, because he's back there already taking care of that stuff. But he wants you to focus and look ahead towards the mark, towards what's ahead of you, because what's behind is long gone. He said, old things have passed away, behold, all things have become new. So he said, now you that 3-stranded cord where I'm in front of you and behind you. So now I need you to become sandwiched with me. That's still becoming one with him. Because I need you to be smushed in the middle.
Guys, what a word. Woo. This is why she's in my life. I'm not going to be selfish to keep her out of your life. But she has helped me in more ways than one, which is why she's my spiritual mom. And I love her. I'm going to let y'all get a little piece of it, though. So, Mama A, you can tell them where they can go follow you, because you can follow her on Instagram and her website. But I want you to tell them how they can get in contact with you and what you're doing, because I want them to feel like I feel when you walked into my life and allowed me to start changing into who I'm becoming. Because you and I both know that I was struggling. And each day I'm being set free. And it's all because I know who I am. And I know God placed you in my life for that, to help me get to that point. I went as far as I could go by myself. Now you're there with me. And I'm so thankful for that. So tell the people, I'm going to stop being emotional, because I wasn't supposed to be emotional, none of that. But tell the people how they can contact you, how they can get in contact with you about what's coming up. Give them all of that.
Well, Best way to contact me, you can either contact me through my website, that's empowermemovement.com, or I'm on Instagram. I have Aleshia.Brown or empowerme_LLC, or I have a text line where I do, if you ever want to be a part of I call it the Whispers of God. And it's a text line, but it's also a line that you can contact as well. And that number is 864-504-4323. And if you're curious about what the Whispers of God is about, when I got hit in my body, he had me at a level now where he just whispers. Y'all, listen, it is so beautiful. Listen. That gentle, sweet, it's like a fresh fragrance, a fresh air.
Fresh wind.
Just, it's beautiful. And so I share. And because I understand that what God gives me is not for me by myself. So I share it to whomever. So those are ways that I can be reached. Just as she is able to find, she now knows, and I'm so, so, so proud of her. She is now my spoiled, blossoming, beautiful butterfly.
Y'all hear that? We're going to cut to a commercial. We'll be right back. Wow, that was so powerful. I just thank my spiritual mother, Aleshia Brown, being here, sharing her story and her words of wisdom. Thank you guys for being here. I'm really just lost for words. Thank you.
People, an open space for women to come together and be bold. You will make it through the stormy weather. Don't apologize for doing what's right. Have no fear, your healing is near. Be bold, you have a purpose. Just be bold, you are worth it. Surrender, my sister. Surrender, my sister. Table talk with Tamisa.